Hi everyone, it's William. I'm a physiotherapy student, and today I wanted to do something a bit different. I wanted to do like a quick quiz to just try my knowledge and see if I know things or not. So I think it would be a bit interesting for me and also for you just to see how much you know on that topic. And if you didn't know, probably you learned some things today, so that's a good thing. I'll probably learn something too, so let's go. Let's enjoy a bit of our knowledge. So I took that quiz because it's the physical therapy web, and I think it's my jam, so we'll see how I do. Musculoskeletal anatomy quiz. Test your anatomy knowledge. Oh yes. First question, I'm so excited. I didn't even look at the questions, so let's see how I do. What is the most mobile joint of the human body? The hip, the glenohumeral joint of the shoulder, the carpal metacarpal joint of the thumb, and the atlantoaxial joint of the neck. Okay. So let's see for each of these how it goes. So the hip. The hip, you have like a lot of mobility. You have the flexion. It's when you put your leg upwards. You got extension when you go in that direction. You got abduction on the lateral side, the external. You have adduction. I don't know if you can see. Oh, I'll go like this. Maybe it will help. So I said adduction when your legs going like this, internal rotation like this, and external rotation. So there's quite a lot. But if you take the shoulder, the glenohumeral joint of the shoulder, so you have the same thing as the hip. So you have the same movement: flexion, extension, abduction. It's like you making an angel in the snow. Abduction and adduction. So it's adduction. And internal rotation, external rotation. But there's so much more mobility in that joint. It's crazy. So the hip goes in the trash. So it's not the hip. Now you have the carpal metacarpal CMC joint of the thumb. You have the same mobility, I think. So flexion, extension, flexion, abduction, adduction. And that's pretty much it. So there's 4 movements. So now we know it's not a hip, it's not the thumb. Now the atlantoaxial joint of the neck. Atlanto, it's the C1, so it's your first vertebra. On C2, the axias, not sure the term in English, but C1 and C2. And the main mobility that they have, it's like this, when you turn your neck, like this, yeah. There's a lot of mobility, but not as much as your glenohumeral. So I'll go with shoulder. If it's not the good answer, my explanation is not good either, so don't take it as granted. So I'll go with the shoulder. I hope I'm right on this one. All right. How many bones are there in the foot? Oof. Okay, in the foot, only in the foot. So you have the talus. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. I'll come back on the screen. So now, how many bones are in the foot? And I lock this answer on number 1. How many? It's not a question that most of the time we don't ask yourself. So how many are there? So there's 3. Oh no. On your toes, you have 3 bones. 3 times. I'll go on the on my about 29. 29? What's the... Oh, it's about this, 29. I think I'm right. Oh. I'm not sure about... It's not a common question, so 29 would be kind of impressive if I got it first try. Alright, next one. What type of joint is the patellofemoral joint? Is it a plain joint, ball and socket joint, hinge joint, or condyloid joint? I know for sure it's not ball and socket joint. Ball and sockets like the shoulder. So you have your humerus, finished with like a ball, and you have your socket like that. It's the glenohumeral cavity, so it rolls in the cavity like this. The knee, it's more like going like this, flexes and extension. I don't know how you call this one. Hinge joint, condyloid joint, or plain joint. I think it's hinge joint. I'm not sure. I think. Oh, let's go with that one. Which of the following is not one of the three main ligaments of the acromioclavicular joint? So in the shoulder. So it's the acromion, it's the part right here. It's like a U shape. And the clavicle, it's the bone, as you can see right here. So which one is not part of this? Most of the time it's not like acromioclavicular, it's another thing, because a ligaments most of the time it's called with where it starts and where it's finished. So acromioclavicular ligaments is a ligament part of the acromioclavicular joint. The deltoid ligament, the conoid ligament, or the trapezoid ligament. Deltoid. I'm not even sure. Trapezoid is a real ligament, deltoid also. I think conoid is not on the same place as the acromioclavicular joint, so I'll go with that one. What is the total number of ball and socket joints in the human body? So as I said, the ball and socket, it's where you have the ball like this, the socket, and the joint is moving like that, right? So if you have your shoulder, as I said, but the hip is also the same the same type of joint. So if you count 1, 2, and 3, 4, there's 4 for sure. Now they say 0, 2, 4, or 6. I'm trying to think if there's other type of ball and socket joints, but I'm not sure. I think it's the only 2, like the shoulder and the hip. I'm pretty sure it's the only 2, so 4 of them. Wow. Okay, the largest sesamoid bone is the human body, or in the body, is part of which joint? So first of all, what's a sesamoid bone? It's referred as a bone that is not connected with ligaments, or not connected, but how can I say it? It's like a floating bone. For example, as you can see on the picture, there is like 2 bones on the big toe that are not directly connected to the other bones surrounding it. So there's connective tissue pushing the two balls, if I can say it that way, on the toe, but it's like not like connected. And the biggest one that you know is the patella. Patella is the little bone you have on your knee, So you can move it. If you extend your knee like this, you can move it, not like this, but you put it on the table, whatever, and you can move it around because it's not like directly connected. So the patella is a sesamoid bone, and it's the biggest one. And it's part of the knee, as you can probably know. The wrist is composed of how many carpal bones? I'm gonna count them on my whiteboard. So if you come with me. All right, so there's probably 8 of them, right? So how did I just count them? It's a little mind trick. It's a little sentence. So it's each of the words begin with a letter, and the letter begins with the bone. So for example, scaphoid is a bone. So if I say the sentence to remember those bones, some lovers try a position that they can handle. So it's 8, and each first letter is referred to a bone. For example, the scaphoid, trapezius, trapeze, etc. So there's 8 of them. The tendon of one muscle forms the lateral border of the anatomical snuff box. Snuff box is, I'm not sure if I'm totally right, but when I learned what was a snuff box, they say at first comes from the good old days where people were putting their leaves in the little cavity, not cavity, the little box here on your wrist. They put the leaves there, and they used to smoke with, how do you say this? So they were using for smoking the pipe, and yeah, that's why they call it the snuff box. So what muscles from the lateral border of the anatomical snuff box? I think there's 2, and it's not muscles, it's tendon on this region because it's on the edge of the muscle. It's the extensor of the thumb. Now we'll see what's the answers that they gave us. Extensor pollicis longus, abductor pollicis longus, extensor digitorum, or extensor pollicis brevis. It's the I'm pretty sure it's the extensor pollicis longus, but it's also the abductor pollicis longus. There's 2 of them, I think, but I'll go with the extensor pollicis longus. So extensor, so extension, pollicis, I think it's for the thumb, and longus because it's outside the region of it comes from a bit higher on your arm. And brevis, it's short, so it comes from the inside most of the time, because some muscle doesn't come with that rule. So make sure you stay awake to make sure it's the good muscle. How many bones are there in the adult human body? It's not a question that we are asked in school, but the number of times people ask me this question, now I know it's 206 bones with normal body. Yeah, it's 206. It's quite a lot. There's a lot in the hand and also the foot, and yeah. There's only 3 bones from here to here. You have your humerus, radius in English, I think, and cubitus. It's kind of impressive, and there's so much more just in that part. Oh, that's a good question. What is the most commonly broken bone? Ooh. We'll see what's the the choices. What's the commonly broken bone? The ankle, the arm, the collarbone. I think it's the wrist. Why is that? Because when people are falling, like on the ground, like BAM, falling, most of the time they break their wrist. Most of the time it's the scaphoid. It's a little bone near your radius, so the bone right here, and it's under it. So when you do an extension of your wrist and you fall on it, some of the time the radius compress between the ground and the scaphoid. And it compresses between the radius and the ground, so the scaphoid is compressed between those two. I think it's the wrist. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Not at all. But I think, yeah, it's the wrist. So there's a bit of a problem. The website won't give us the answer. It's still loading. So I'm gonna go on the internet and see what's the real answer. But I mean, don't go on physical therapy web because their quizzes are not working probably. So the first one, the what was the question? Yeah. What is the most mobile joint in the human body? I said the glenohumeral joint of the shoulder. And the answer is the human shoulder. And they say on the internet, the human shoulder is the most mobile joint in the human body. This mobility provides the upper extremity with tremendous range of motion. With, just as I said, adduction, abduction, flexion, extension, internal rotation, external rotation, and 360-degree circumduction. So it's a round circle in the sagittal plane. Wow. So it's the good answer. Let's go on the second one. How many bones are there in the foot? I've said 29. Let's see what's the answer is. 26. Got 3 more than I thought. Each foot is made of 26 bones. All right. 26? The foot has 29. Oh, so there's a bit of confusion in the bones. 14, 7 tarsal. I think the real answer is 28. I don't know, I'm not sure. I would love to know what's the real answer, but with the website, but we don't know. So what type of joint is the patellofemoral joint? That's a good question. Honestly, I don't know the real word, and that's a bit bothering. So what types of patellal joint? Is a sesamoid joint? It is a complex hinge point. So is this what I said? Yeah, hinge point. There you go. It's a complex hinge point. It's also a synovial articulation. Alright. Another good thing. Which of the following is not one of the 3 main ligaments of the acromioclavicular joint? Conoid ligament, I said. Oh, it's in the foot. Oh! I'll confuse myself with another ligament. Because there's another one in the medial. It's also called deltoid. But I thought they were referring to another one in the shoulder. So it's the deltoid one. I'm so... not stupid, but... and the potatoes. Wow. I knew that one, the deltoid one, but I thought there was another one in the shoulder. Whoopsie. What is the total number of ball and socket joints in the human body? I think I'm right with this one. 4. Let's see. There's 2 pairs, so 4. Right? One is the hip and the other one is the shoulder. Balls are in the... no, not balls, not this. We're not talking about the same thing. The largest sesamoid bone is part of the which joint? It's the knee. I'm pretty sure of that one, actually. Oops. The patella in the knee. There you go. There you go. The tendon of the what muscle is more than like tendon in that area, as I said, forms the lateral border of the anatomical snuff extensor pollicis longus. And oh, as they said, look it up. The two tendons of the outcropping muscle make up the lateral border of the anatomical snowbox. They are the abductor pollicis longus and extensor pollicis brevis. Ah, brevis. Yeah. The other side. Yeah. So I was right. Yeah. How many bones in the human body? It's 206. I'm damn sure. The number of times I'll look it up. 206. There you go. That was an easy one. What is the most commonly broken bone? On that one, I think it's different from some people. That's a good question. Pretty sure it's the wrist. It depends of the website. They say perhaps surprisingly the most broken bone is actually clavicle, more often as known the collarbone. I didn't know. Clavicle, arm, wrist, ankle. Yeah. So the clavicle would be the bone that would break the most. Good to know. Didn't know. I was sure it was the wrist. So there you go. That's the end. I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I surely learned some things. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.